I firmly believe that each of us could benefit from receiving more feedback, but sometimes it's hard to ask, and sometimes even when we ask, we don't get it. So I just want to share a few tips that I've learned over the years about how to ask for feedback frequently and also how to ask for it effectively so that people actually begin to feel comfortable and recognize that you truly want their feedback, and therefore they're going to start giving it to you, and make that a habit. So the first thing I would say is ask early, ask often, meaning especially when you're in a new relationship, a new boss, direct report, or colleague, start asking early so they get the sense that feedback is something that's important to you. You can even set the context and tell them, I'm somebody who loves feedback. Please give it to me early and often, and just know that I'm going to keep asking you. The second thing that I actually learned from one of my direct reports is to phrase the question like, what could I have done 10% better? I think that gives people a really easy in because they're not saying that you did something poorly, whether it was a presentation, an idea that you shared, some piece of work that you submitted. What would have made it 10% better is a really easy way for them to say, oh yeah, you know what? If you had just done this one more thing or done this one thing differently. The other way that I would recommend is to be very specific. So if you're asking for feedback about a scenario where that person wasn't present, share the details, share the information. I had a client who did this for me years ago, and it really stood out. He described a meeting. He had been feeling a little bit frustrated. He had said, well, maybe I expressed some anger. And I don't know if that was okay. I don't know if that was effective, or is anger not a tool? Like, I shouldn't have come across that way. And so even though I wasn't there in that meeting with him, we were able to have a really great discussion about it. And I was able to share my perspective at the time as his HR partner. The last thing is, I would say give feedback. So role model what it looks like to give effective feedback to others. I think, feedback is something we want to be good at both giving and receiving. And so if you can make that part of your practice, it's going to make others around you even more comfortable sharing their feedback with you. So quickly, just to recap, ask for feedback early and often. Use a phrase that works for you. It might be, how can I do this 10% better? And then be very specific when asking someone for feedback about what was the scenario, what were the details, what is the exact thing that you want feedback on. I hope this helps you to receive a little bit more feedback, and I hope it's something that's going to make you even 10% better today.